You know, another mistake I think a lot of young hunters make that's just starting out. When I say young, I don't mean like they have to be young in age. A lot of guys don't get in turkey hunting until they're 25, 30, 40 years old. But young turkey hunters, let's say, I think a lot of the mistake, and even some experienced hunters can make this mistake too. And I've did it myself. And it's just something you really have to watch. You know, I know that we set around, you know, deer season usually closes in December or some states January. And from January, February, March, you know, unless you live in the South, but for 2 or 3 months, you're just kind of sitting at the house doing nothing. You know, it's just kind of sitting around just slobbering, waiting for turkey season to get in so you can get out here in the woods and enjoy hunting. And I think turkey hunting is so great because you're actually being vocal. And it's something that you're actually playing a chess game, you know, with a wild animal, and you're trying to get him to come in, and that's why we all do it. And every one of us, all during January and February and March, you know, we're sitting around just waiting, you know, to hear them gobbles. You know, we're just that's our thing, man. Hey, if that wasn't what you liked, you need to sit at the house. You know, I mean, what's the main thing that we turkey hunters like? We like to listen to them gobble, man. We like to hear them things just thundering all over the ridge tops and in the edges of fields, and man, we love that. That's why we get up every morning at 5:30, head out in the woods before daylight, get set up. You know, we do it for 5 weeks or 6 weeks in a row every morning, and by the end of the season, we're just dead, you know. We're so tired. But why do we do that? Because of them gobbles, because it's something that gets inside of you that nobody can explain, and I ain't gonna try to explain it. And I know we like to hear gobbles, and I know we like to hear them just fired up, and I know you like to get your calls out and, you know, and we just like to hear them gobble, man. We want to keep that gobbling up as long as possible. Yeah. A lot of times that can hurt you, because what I like to talk about for the next minute or so is overcalling. You know, you can overcall to a turkey. Now, you take a 2-year-old turkey or a Jake, which Jake is a year, you know, about a year-old turkey. Gobbler is about 2-year-old. Most turkeys that are killed in spring gobbler season is 2-year-olds or Jakes, because they come in a lot easier. But especially the older turkeys, you know, the big old heavy turkeys, the big old 1.5-inch spurs, the big old paintbrush beer, and just, you know, the ones that's been around for a few years. A lot of times they won't gobble much. Now, I'm hunting this turkey. We're right in his area. You remember last year, old Sly? Y'all remember that? Well, if you don't, if you're new, just go back last year and watch some of that footage. 4 times I called that turkey in a 5-week period. 4 different times, the same turkey. He just gave me the slip all 4 times. And you know, all 4 times I had him in gun range and couldn't close the deal. But old Sly, he's in here somewhere, and me and him's got a date. But old Sly is he's one of them turkeys you can't overcall to, you know, and he gobbles a lot, but you overcall to him, and he's like most old turkeys. He'll back off because it gets him uncomfortable. He knows something ain't right. So don't try to overcall. If he's gobbling, if you got a turkey up on, so let's say, you know, if he's back in here, or another turkey, if he's up here and he's gobbling, he's gobbling, she's down here going, you're down here going, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you, and and he's like, well, come on, and you're like, I love you, and you won't shut up. Well, he's just gonna sit there, and he's just gonna keep gobbling until he gobbles himself out and goes away. And that's why most of the time you never can kill them turkeys that hang up, because people overcall to them. And I know you like to hear them gobble. Oh, it's fun though. Every time you go back to your buddies at the Hardee's or something, you go back to, you know, Shoney's, and you say, oh, I had this gobbler. You know, I've heard this. Yeah, I've heard it. I mean, I just called. He gobbled every time. He just gobbled every time. He gobbled for 2 hours straight. Every time I'd hit the call, and he would come in. Well, then I sit there and I think, man, you should have just shut up, because a lot of times these old turkeys, that's what they'll do. But if you shut up, curiosity gets them. You see, and you say, oh, but you know, if he shuts up, then he's going. I'm afraid he's went over the hill. I guarantee, if he by himself, he's there. He'll stay there, because he knows there's a lady down here. You know, unless he gets with a hen up there somewhere, he's there. But most of the time they'll come slipping in. It may take 45 minutes, it may take an hour. Sometimes I've set 2 hours, and in that 2 hour, maybe just give up one cluck or one little purr or one little, you know, cluck every once in a while, just to let him know I'm still here, but I'm not interested in him. You see, that's a lot of times that'll drag them old turkeys right on in because they can't stand it. Quick story about this. I was hunting a turkey one morning about 4 or 5 years ago, 6 years ago, I can't remember now, but it was a few years ago. And this turkey, he'd gobble and gobble just like I'm talking about. He'd gobble, I mean, every time I'd hit the call, he'd gobble. Box call, he'd gobble. Mouth call, he'd gobble. Slate call, he'd gobble. And he gobbled for like an hour and a half straight. I mean, just gobbled and gobbled, just all morning long. So I finally I got a little bit closer to him. I set up on a logging road, and I just sat there, and I wouldn't say nothing. Well, he kept gobbling. He kept gobbling. His gobblings were getting spaced out. He gobbled, and then 15 minutes later, he gobbled again. I know he was there. I wouldn't say nothing. Oh, it was tempting. Ooh, I wanted to, because I knew he'd gobble, and I loved that. It was tempting, but I just shut up. It took an hour and 30 minutes for me sitting there. Buddy, I mean, hardly ever making a sound. And here he come. I seen him come out in that road full strut and heard him spitting and drumming. And he come right up. And once I saw him, then you start purring to him real soft. Don't start when you see him. Don't go, "Wah, wah, wah, wah." You know, don't do that. Just soft call, like. Something like that. But don't get crazy with it. Just let him know you're still there. If you got decoys, that'll help, because he'll come right on in. But a lot of times, if you ain't got decoys, he'll just come slipping right on in, just like Essen did on me. Hour and a half, at least, or an hour 45 minutes, I forget. It was a long time. I sat there and didn't say a word. And finally, he slipped right on in to about 20 yards, and I let that old 1187 bark. And got him. And he was a big turkey. He was like 1.5 inch spurs. He's an older turkey, 4 or 5 year old turkey, and about 23 pounds, I think. So that turkey there is a classic example of what I'm talking about. You can't overcall him. I know what you're thinking. Oh man, I love getting out here and just, hearing him gobble. But a lot of times, just shut up, be patient, and just sit there. And when you think you sat long enough, set 10 minutes longer. And if you think you set a little bit longer. Just make yourself. And many times that'll get them old turkeys that most people are just walking on by and hearing them gobble, but they'll never come. But you'll get them old wise turkeys that's been around 3 or 4 or 5 years, big old hooks on them. You get them to come right on in. So just a quick tip, don't overcall. And I believe that'll help some of you this year on your turkey hunting. Hey, I hope to see y'all with a bird here in a couple of days. And we're going to get out here and have some fun this year. Be safe in the woods this year. Always make sure you know what you're shooting at. Don't shoot at turkey calls or sounds or stuff like that. Make sure you target. Make sure it's that old red, white, and blue head of that gobbler. Make sure it's safe and ethical. And hey, have some fun out there this year. And everybody will be happy, 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 as Phil Robinson says.